What up, Lucid Crew? Welcome back to the channel. My fucking chair's broken. If this is your first time here, thanks for coming. We're going to be watching videos from all over the internet. Creepy, weird. What is going on with this chair? And to my Lucid Crew, my Discord family, my membership, all of you guys that have been super supportive, thank you so much. I appreciate the hell out of you. But without dragging this out any further, my chair's I'm totally sinking. Let's get into the video.
They've been warning you since 1976.
The Legion of Doom is about to begin its reign of terror.
After see New York, we could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fare. $9? This one's on me.
Let's hope Osama bin Laden doesn't know show tunes. God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. Wait and see! Oh, you're stupid.
Well, you're stupider.
No, you're...
It's time. We will now strike at the heart of American defense and destroy the Pentagon with one swift and deadly blow.
Ghostbusters tower. We're coming in.
And I'm out of here.
The towers are falling!
I mean, some of those, sure, but not all of them. I mean, the Pentagon and the Twin Towers are, very important landmarks, very important places in the U.S. So, obviously they're going to be a point of interest in media, right? Especially when it comes to like G.I. Joe and Ghostbusters and Iron Man and all those other shows that have to do with, bad guys and all that stuff. So it would make sense that they would choose those because they've chosen lots of other ones as well. With that being said, sure, absolutely. I'm definitely kind of getting more on the train of us, being warned about things before they happen.
What happened to the Giant of Kandahar? It's been years and no new information has surfaced. If for some reason you do not know the story of the Giant of Kandahar, it was an enormous humanoid creature allegedly encountered and taken out by a group of army soldiers on a mountainside in Afghanistan. Now, the last interesting piece of information I have is the interview with a pilot. Now, if you haven't heard this story before, this will probably leave you in amazement.
It was a completely normal mission for us. We were not alerted for anything abnormal. It was in the middle of the day. I remember coming into a base in Afghanistan called Bagram. Back in those days, it was pretty austere. It was an old Russian air base that we were using. It's basically built in a bowl in the mountains where you have to stay high right up in the last minute, and then you basically come screaming back down to land. The area to the side of it was called the Valley of Death because during the Soviet days with the Mujahideen, they had fired their rockets into a lot of the helicopters, so you could see all kinds of wrecks and stuff in the valley below, which for the most part I didn't pay attention to because I was a little busy getting the airplane on the ground safely. We landed and basically was told to taxi to the very end of the tarmac. And like I said, it was middle of the day, very hot. I remember that. We opened the doors and unloaded the equipment that we had brought in. And then we were met at the aircraft by what we later on called the babysitters. But they kind of introduced themselves and said, hey, no cameras, nobody's taking pictures here. We're moving some high-value stuff. When the load got there, we're very, of course, curious to see what it was, because that's just the way you are when you're told that you're not allowed to have a camera. They say this thing had been dead for maybe a day or two, but it stunk. And when I say stunk, I've smelled dead things before, but this had a more of a, I want to say a musky stink, kind of a, not really a decay, but more of a, if somebody hadn't taken a shower in like 10 years type of a musky stink is all I can tell you. And it was basically a dead guy. And this guy was extremely large. And when I say large, our pallets are basically, if I remember correctly, about 9 by 12 feet or so. This guy was laying in a fetal position on the pallet. So he filled the pallet. We estimated his size at approximately 12 to 10 feet tall. I did see his skin color. I was expecting somebody of more Arabic descent, being in Afghanistan and all. I know he was dead, but he was very pale, very white. Another thing that us and the rest of the crew did was we took our feet. He was in a fetal position, so you could take your feet and put it kind of, you could see where his feet were there, and they were wrapped up. He did not have shoes on, but he had like looked like he was wrapping them in some kind of a canvas type stuff. But we were sticking our feet up next to his feet, and his feet were extremely big. We know that the standard weight on one of those pallets is about 1,500 pounds, and I do remember that the loadmaster did the weights, and it was around 1,100 pound guy. The pallet sits on dunnage. You know what dunnage is? It's basically like railroad ties so that you can get a forklift underneath it and pick it up. So it was on dunnage, and basic dunnage is like maybe a 4x4. And then the pallet is, say, yay thick. It's actually aluminum and balsa wood. And this guy, I mean, laying down was very, very wide. I mean, and he was, like I said, he's in a fetal position, and you go up and just, you hit it, and of course he's under a tarp and all that, I understand that, but he was a dense guy. We questioned the babysitters of, hey, where'd you get this guy? And some of the Army guys there with him relayed to us that this guy had, I guess, been living up in the mountains next to a village where the villagers basically treated him like a god. I did infer that they were making sacrifices to this guy because they said they found bones of people. The giant supposedly, like I said, I was not there, supposedly killed the first team that they came across. He was extremely big and fast and agile for a guy that size. They sent up another team, and when the second team went in there to get him, supposedly he had already started to basically eat on the team that had been killed the first time. They then grabbed a helicopter, and the helicopter brought him down where we picked him up. After we loaded the Giant, it was just a standard mission back. We took him all the way back to LUD in Qatar, where he was transloaded onto another airplane. I believe it was a C-17. I was done with my mission then. I got away from it. I was done. I did ask some questions later of, where it might have gone. And as the grapevine goes, it was probably taken back to the United States. And the words I heard were right, Pat. But again, I don't know.
Wow. I've gotten a few comments about this story, but I hadn't watched it until just right now. I guess he had red hair too, right? He didn't mention that in the video, but I think a comment said that. What was he? I mean, other than just a giant, was he naturally like here? Like, is he just like a species that was developed here? Is he, Nephilim? Is he an alien? Is he like, what is he? What is this giant? If you have any more information on that, or any other theories, let me know in the comments. And if you have any other videos about this story, join the Discord. The link is in the description, and please send them to me because this has piqued my interest.
Have you heard the theory that the Trumps are time travelers?
Grab me a DeLorean.
This connects to Nikola Tesla.
No way!
Nikola Tesla died, and within his hotel, he had 80 plus trunks of all his patents, his designs for different technologies, all this stuff. Guess who they sent first to go and collect the stuff?
I don't know.
John G. Trump, Donald Trump's uncle.
What?
So the theory is that he took some of these trunks.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Tesla said that he had figured out how to bend time.
Yeah.
And so,
as one does.
The theory is Donald Trump's uncle took this, created a time machine.
Oh my gosh.
But then the weird connection is there was a book that came out in 1896, and it's called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. Do
Baron
you know what the book was about?
What?
Time travel?
Baron Trump time traveling.
Grab the DeLorean. Holy Biff Tannen. I don't know. I have to look more into that. That's I mean, all I can think about is Back to the Future 2. They actually based Biff Tannen's future character off of Donald Trump in Back to the Future 2, which is, I think, one of my all-time favorite movies. You'll hear me talk about hoverboards all the time if you watch these videos often. I really want one. I really want one. But yeah, that's a super cool story. If you have any more info on that, let me know as well. I don't really know what all the details about the book, Baron Trump, that story or the book, whatever it was. I don't know how well the details align with what has actually happened, but I mean, the coincidence of the name is on its own pretty strange, I have to say.
In the Rosicrucian tradition, there is a particular exercise or practice that's known as the 6 essential exercises. It's basically taking mindfulness to its full extent. They say that if a person does this series of practices, then they will be safeguarded against detrimental effects of all kinds of things in the world. It's really the foundation of everything. The first 3 practices are to observe the content in your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, then to illuminate what it is so that you can direct your thoughts, feelings, and actions in the best way possible. First, you observe what's there without trying to change it. Just see what you're actually generating, and then you're consciously choosing the higher level thought forms, the higher level emotions, the higher level actions in the world in a fully conscious way. So it's mindfulness taken to a full extent. Next practice is one of positivity. No matter how bad things look in your life or the world around you, to look for the positive hidden in it. There's a Persian legend of the Christ, where the Christ is walking with a group of disciples past a dead dog, and the dog is rotted and smells, and there's maggots crawling in it, and all of the disciples turn away in disgust, and the Christ looks at it as they walk by, turns to the disciples and smiles and said, "What beautiful teeth that animal had." Always looking for the positive in anything. The next exercise, radical openness to new perspectives, radical openness to new information, radical openness to new ways of living and being. The 6th and final exercise is to harmonize all that together in your daily life.
Yeah, I can 100% get behind that. I talk a lot about the positive and negative things we say having a huge effect on the outcome of our days and of our lives. Like, it's super important because when it comes down to it, your greatest motivation is going to be yourself, and your greatest critic is also going to be yourself. And both of those things are either going to affect you negatively or positively, like immensely. You are 100% going to have a better chance of succeeding if you are backing yourself up rather than like holding yourself back with doubt.
Now, this is scary. In 1909, an archaeologist named Kim Kate and his companion should stumbled upon a stone-carved staircase deep in the Grand Canyon. As they ascended, they discovered a vast cave complex. The cave appeared untouched for centuries. In the first chamber, there should stood a massive Buddha statue. As they continued to explore the cave, they found a perfectly crafted marble staircase. Kim immediately knew they were onto something significant, so they notified a major museum in Washington. They sent numerous archaeologists, along with Kate, to the same location. As they ventured deeper into the cave, they discovered a room filled with Egyptian hieroglyphs, which was quite strange, as the Egyptians had never discovered America. But here's the climax. When they entered another chamber, they claimed to have found giant mummified skeletons, much larger than humans. Kate believed he had made the discovery of his life. However, when he returned home, everyone should act as if they hadn't found anything. And it's rumored that the museum, in collaboration with the U.S. government, sealed and replaced what they had found. This leaves me wondering what else we might not know. The story cannot be confirmed, but it must originate from somewhere.
First things first, that was definitely AI-generated Joe Rogan commentary, 100%. It's pretty messed up. You shouldn't do that to people. Even though he has talked about that before, that's not quoted from his show. Secondly, I've heard about this, and I guess there are records of the Smithsonian. I think they funded the excavation of that place in the Grand Canyon, and there are records of it, but they still won't admit to it. They won't admit to it being true, despite the records proving that it was true. But that's really all I know about the story. I guess like Egyptian hieroglyphs and a Buddha and just a bunch of stuff from all over the world that shouldn't have been there.
And not the American way. These damn bills that come out here all the damn time come out here at the last second, and I gotta try to figure out how to vote for my people. How ashamed of you should be. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm sick of it. Every year, we give power to one person. It was not made that way in the Constitution. He was around when it was written. Now we passed rules that stop each one of us. Enough! I feel like somebody trying to be released from Egypt. Let my people go! My God, they sent me here to vote for them. They sent me here to vote for them, to argue for them. But I'm trapped. I'm trapped with my rules that have been forced down our throats. Folks, we live in a democracy, but not here. But not here. So you go back and you tell your people, I'd like to do that, but the speaker has so much power, so much control, and each one of us do it in their districts. And have to go back and say that. And you can say on your side of the aisle, oh, no, that's not the case. But yes, you do. All of us know you got to deal with it. When's it going to stop?
So I moved out of Illinois. It'll be 3 years next month because everything was going absolutely insane during everything that we went through these past couple of years. I don't want to say it on YouTube. I don't know if I'll get a fucking striked or whatever. I don't know how this shit works. I've had other friends move out of Illinois since I've been down here. Because it was bad when I was still there. But I've had other friends move out since. And like most recently this year. And they said, dude, Chicago specifically is just getting bad, dude. It's just getting terrible. Which is unfortunate because it's a beautiful city. I fucking love Chicago. I loved living there for, the 10 years that I did. And really, man, I mean, I wish more people had this guy's passion. Really just talk about how fucked up stuff is, man. I mean, we're just like constantly just giving away any rights and any control that we have. I'm not going to get too deep into politics, but I will say, man, that the more that we just let people take control of our lives and just depend on self-important people with ulterior motives to take control of our futures and stuff, man, it's going to continue to just get worse and worse. And that's any situation. That's in relationships or anything. You live and you learn, man. Live and you learn.
What did Buzz Aldrin see in Antarctica? Let's rewind. So in 2016, a satellite got an image of what experts believed to be a huge pyramid in Antarctica. Now, if this was in fact a pyramid, it would be the largest pyramid ever found on Earth. Bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was about 230 meters wide. This pyramid in Antarctica would be 2,000 meters wide. Now, apparently in 2016, Buzz Aldrin and a crew got together and went to Antarctica to explore and check out this colossal pyramid. They wanted to see it for themselves. But this is where it gets crazy. While on the expedition, Buzz Aldrin suffered a heart attack. He was hospitalized for days. But when he fully recovered and left the hospital, he tweeted something strange, but then quickly deleted it. It said, "We are all in danger. It is evil itself." Now, what the hell he talking about? Cause I don't want to find out. Someone close to Buzz said they had a talk with him and he said this.
Buzz did say one thing. He just said, we thought out things we shouldn't. And I went, what do you mean by that?
Come on, man. What did they find? Was it aliens, a Nephilim giants, other humans? If it is a pyramid, who built it? And what was living in it?
I don't know what was in it. I don't know what was there. I don't know what's been living there. What's been thought out there. Sure enough, I know for sure that we're going to continue to fuck around, and we're going to find out.
35 years is how long this plane trip lasted. Yeah, years. You heard that right. Years. Santiago Airlines Flight 513 boarded in 1954 and landed in 1989, flying from Aachen, Germany on September 4th, 1954 to Porto Alegre, Brazil, with 88 passengers and 4 crew members on board. It was about to finish crossing the Atlantic Ocean when it just completely disappeared a few hours into its flight, very close to the Bermuda Triangle. Now, disappearing planes are oddly not out of the ordinary. They actually happen all the time, like the infamous flight MH370, which was flying from Malaysia to Beijing back in 2014 when it mysteriously changed course mid-flight and started flying into the middle of the Indian Ocean, only to vanish a few hours later with no traces of the plane on any radars, just like Flight 513. Except debris from MH370 was found washed ashore in Madagascar 5 years later in 2019. Meanwhile, only 2 years after Flight 513 vanished, the search was called off in 1956. Then, out of nowhere, on October 12, 1989, the exact plane just lands without any radar warning in Brazil. 35 years later. 35 years. How is that even possible? When it landed, the airport security team rushed the plane to investigate, and they could not believe what they found. 92 skeletons still seated on the plane with their seatbelts on, passengers, crew, captain, and all, with the pilot literally still clutching the controls in his hand. The other big question is here, how did this plane even land? Some theories claim this plane entered a wormhole over the Bermuda Triangle and traveled through time, while others that they were abducted by aliens or landed on some remote island and died of starvation. A lot of online sources say this is a hoax, but others claim the Brazilian government investigated and refused to disclose details to the public after they realized they had no valid explanations for it. But that's exactly what you would expect a government to do if something unexplainable ever happened with no plausible explanation. Deny it and paint the discovery a hoax. Especially in 1989, before the internet and online channels like this were widely used and the general public had no way of sharing information with each other. Which is why no photo or video proof has been released other than this tabloid newspaper article, with those same people stating that even a plane that old could have easily landed itself with autopilot. Santiago Airlines went out of business 2 years after this flight, so no executives were around 35 years later to confirm records either. Remember to never blindly accept what you hear as absolute fact, including what I'm saying right now, and to always question everything. This is likely an urban legend, but you can never know for sure. My video analytics show that only about 15% of people actually get to this point of the video, so let's make fun of all the angry comments below who didn't make it this far, knowing that both sides of your brain are working.
Man, I hear so many different stories that are similar to that one. I know there's a Netflix show that was like based on one of them. I don't know. I don't think that's this one, right? I haven't watched the show. I have no idea. But I think they were still alive in the Netflix show, and these obviously were not. So, but yeah, if you have any information about this one, let me know, because this is the first time I've heard about it. I think there was one where they landed and then like immediately took off again, and then were just not seen again. I don't know if that's this one. I have no idea. There's so many of these. It's insane that there are so many of these.
You know, your body is a corporation. By law, your body, your physical body is a corporation. So when you die, you're a corpse, because when you're living, you're a corporation. You are a business. And hanging out with that person is bad business.
Right.
Or who I hang out with is none of your business. Words and terms are based on maritime admiralty, the law of water. That's why when you go into a court, you have a gate. The people sit out here and the judge sits inside. The gate is called a floodgate. When you go through the canal, you have a floodgate. So when you're sitting out here, you're in the law of the land. The judge has no control or no jurisdiction over the people sitting out here. No jurisdiction whatsoever.
Because they're outside the gate.
That's outside the gate. That's on land. But when you walk past that gate, now you're in hot water, and someone's going to have to bail you out. The law of water, maritime admiralty, it's an extraordinary story about how governments rule the world, and unless you understand this, you're never going to figure out what's going on. When you walk into a courtroom and they call your name, you get up and you put your hand on the gate, and you open the gate. The moment you put your hand on the gate, by international law, you of your own volition have opened yourself up to maritime admiralty law, because you were on the law of the land. As long as you don't touch that gate and go through it, you haven't opened the floodgate. Now, once you open the floodgate, there's a piece of wood on top of that gate, and it's called the bar, and you're not licensed to pass the bar. So what you've done is you've opened the floodgate, but you weren't licensed to pass the bar. You're considered to be a dead man. That's why the attorney has to speak for you. He has to represent you.
Why are you dead? Because
you went into the deep water and you died. You drowned. You were not licensed to pass the bar. And the bar represents a sandbar in the ocean. But the bar is what the attorneys are licensed to pass, but you're not. So the point being is that when you open that gate of your own volition, you are considered by law to be a dead man.
Really?
That's why you cannot talk to the judge, because dead people don't talk to judges. So you'll need an attorney who is your mouthpiece. He speaks for you because you're dead.
Well, should we do away with courts so people can get their lives back?
I would think that what you want to do is understand how the system works.
And avoid it.
And avoid it if you can.
That's incredibly interesting. That's why attorneys have to pass the bar exam. That's interesting as fuck. I've seen a lot of comments about that recently after one of my videos from a couple days ago. A lot of people were talking about maritime law. Dude, there's so much, so much interesting shit. So much stuff is just like shrouded in symbolism from hundreds of years ago. It's wild to me, but it's also really interesting and really fun to learn about too. So thanks for that. Thanks for that video. I really appreciate that. Definitely gonna watch more of those. And with that being said, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much, Lucid Crew. You guys are so sick. I already know that on this live premiere, you guys were hanging out with me in the chat, even though I'm not going to experience that until tomorrow during the live premiere, but I just know you always show up. You always show up for me. So thank you ahead of time. I'm thanking you 24 hours ahead of time for tomorrow, because I already know you're going to come through. If this is your first time watching my channel and one of my first videos and you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. You have won my respect and gratitude, and I thank you so much. I hope that you will consider subscribing, liking, sharing, whatever it is that you feel obligated to do to show your appreciation for all the hard work that went into researching and sourcing these videos and recording them and editing, because I do everything myself. So I really appreciate you watching it, and I would love to hear if you enjoyed it. You can also join the Discord. The link is down in the description. You can come talk to us and submit videos that you want me to watch on these video compilations and these reaction videos. So if you have some cool stuff that you want me to see, send them in there. If you have some cool stuff you want to talk about, come in and say hey, and we'll talk about that too. So thank you so much, everybody who watched. Lucid Crew, you guys are amazing. Everybody else, thank you as well. And until next time, peace.